Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tradingofftilt. I'm Ryan. In this video, we're going to be going over the Elliott wave count that I have for Ethereum, and I'm going to be starting off by going over the macro count, which is this one right here. So in this video, we're going to be counting this as a wave 1, 2. So this would come up as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this primary wave 1. Keep down for primary wave 2 via a WXY. This wave 3 would have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're currently in a wave 4, or we actually could have completed a wave 4 for an ABC expanded flat right here. Now, if you zoom into this wave 1, I'm going to go over the subdivisions a little bit later. I'm going to go a little bit more into depth on the subdivisions, how you would subdivide this wave 1, this wave 3, etc., and especially this section right here. But I just want to start out by saying, so if you zoom into this wave 1, it's a little bit tricky to subdivide. You could count up a 5 waves for this wave 1, but then for this wave 3, it would be a little bit more tricky. Now you could put a wave 1 here and 2 here, maybe for a WXY of some sort. But if you're just counting up for this wave 3, you can't really get a nice 1. You could say, so because this would be a 1, 2, then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't really get a nice 5-wave structure with nice symmetry to get this wave 3. So you'd have to put the wave 1 here, 2 here. Then this would be a 3, 4, 5 for this wave 3. And I was thinking this morning, what this could actually be is, instead of this being a wave 1, it could be a wave X, where this whole impulse wave didn't start right here, but instead it started right here, and this was all a part of a correction. So I'm going to hide this count to show you guys real quick. So this could have all been a WXY instead of this being a 1, 2. And this could all be a 1, 2 up here of the primary third wave. Now, of course, that would give us a lot higher targets, because that would mean that this would be the first wave of the primary wave 3. And once we complete this wave 2, we're going to enter the third of the primary wave 3, which is going to mean that we're going to be theoretically expecting very high volume levels and price to just kind of start skyrocketing upwards, because that's what happens in the third wave typically. So that would mean we could probably expect price levels to top out anywhere above 20K for the most part. But if this were to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, generally I'm going to be looking for around 8K or so for the end of the fifth wave. I'll go into that a little bit later, but that's basically what I wanted to preface this video off of, by just kind of showing you guys this could be a 1, 2, rather this could be a 1, 2, or this could all be a WXY, and this could be a 1, 2 right here. So let's hide that, and I'll show you guys the macro count once more. What we're going to be assuming for this count is this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have yet to come off the fifth wave, and we could have completed the fourth wave, or we could be in the process of completing this fourth wave. So we have yet to see. We have to kind of wait and see what happens. If this were to be a triangle where we were to get A, B, C, D, E, obviously it can't be a second wave. This cannot be a wave 2, because wave 2s cannot be triangles. So that would be an easy invalidation of this being a 1, 2. But if this were to just end as an A, B, C, as a running flat, or even an expanded flat down here, then we could already see, if we pull a Fibonacci retracement tool from the low put in down here to the high up here, we already see that it already retraced the golden pocket right here, which is a pretty typical retracement for a wave 2. For a wave 4, you would want to be looking for the 0.382. So that's another piece of evidence, or piece of confluence that we could be using to evidence that this could be a wave 2 instead of being a wave 4. So that's something to keep in mind, that this could all be a WXY, and this could be a 1, 2 up here. So now let's get into some of the more subdivisions. Actually, I want to show you guys some tools we could be looking at for the macro count. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. And first of all, to get some price targets to the downside, assuming we haven't bottomed out yet, then we could be looking at the fixed range volume profile. So we just pull fixed range volume profile tool up here from the beginning of this low. So this would be the presumable wave 2. The low here to all the way to the current price action, and we can see all the volume nodes in this rise up right here. And currently we already came down to this volume node right here around 1800. The next one, my best guess, if we were to lose this one right here, we'd probably be expecting to come all the way down here to this next volume node, around 1300 to 1200-ish. So that would be the next area of support as far as volume goes to the downside if we lose this one right here. Something else we could be looking at is this Fibonacci speed fan on arithmetic. So we've already come into the 0.618, the 0.75 on log, but if we go to arithmetic, then we can see that it's a little bit lower. So this would be, to clarify, this would actually be pulled from the very all-time, well, this wouldn't be the all-time low, but the all-time low, at least on this chart right here. This would be the chart, this would be on Coinbase. And then pulled from this low right here to the very high. Well, actually, this would not be the all-time high, but it would be the high put in at the top of wave 3. And we can see that the 0.618 on arithmetic is a little bit lower, around about 2K, about 1900 to 2K. If we were to lose that, we could expect to come down to the 0.75 down here, around 1300, which would line up with our previous volume node that we just observed. Now, another thing we could be looking at would be this pitchfork right here. Let's zoom out a little bit. So this would be on log scale. And I kind of like this pitchfork. This would be taken from this low as well to the top of this wave 1 to the bottom of this wave 2. And what we can see is that this midline has been respected decently for the most part. We can see even back here, it was bounced off of in July of 2017. Then we get a bounce here. Then we move all the way over here. We get some sort of reaction as we kind of come into it from the bottom. Then we come up and we get a back test. And then we kind of get a back test here. Not quite, but it's pretty close. Then we came up here and got another back test as we came down right here. So we could expect, perhaps if we were to lose this midline right here, maybe we could back test and come all the way down to, in a very bearish scenario, the 0.5 midline right here. That would be very bearish, but maybe more likely could be the 0.25, which would be this one right here, around 1500. So that's something else we could be looking at, this pitchfork. And then another thing, which I'm sure a lot of you guys will be looking at, would be the Fibonacci retracement, pulled from this low, which is what we're calling the bottom of wave 2 to the very high. We can see this golden pocket coming in right here, around 1900 to about 1914 to 1690. So we already bounced at this golden pocket previously, but we could come back into it, which would be the bottom of this range right here. If we're considering this all range right here, we could just come back to test the bottom of the range and then make our way up. Maybe we get a swing failure pattern of these lows before getting a rise up. That's another possibility. And then something that I think is pretty important to be looking at would be this structural support right here. So this would be the all-time high put in 2018. This would be January of 2018 to be exact. And as you guys know, previous support or previous resistance acts as support once you get above it. So if we were to come back down into this, we could expect a reaction around it. Now keep in mind, it doesn't have to be right around it. You don't have to bounce exactly on this line, but you would expect it to bounce around it. For all we know, we could come into those volume nodes around 1300 to 1200. Just come right below it like this and then come back up. Then additionally, we have this channel. So I'm calling this a 012 channel. If this were a WXY and this were a 1-2 instead of a 3-4, then we can expect the third wave to probably come. So I'll hide the count to make it easier for you guys. If this were a 1-2 right here, then I would expect this third wave to come to the top of the channel, which, like I mentioned, would be very bullish price targets all the way up here around 20. This could be around 26K. If we come down, test the midline for the wave 4, then back up for the wave 5, which would be, as you guys could probably already see, very high up. But that's what we'd be looking at if this were to be a 1-2, and we'd be entering the third of the third wave. So this would be, if to clarify, it would be the intermediate third wave of the primary third wave. So that's the second to last. And the last thing I want to show you guys, which is pretty interesting, is if you take, I'm going to hide the fixed range volume profile. If you take a channel down here, so if this were to be a 1-2 right here, Then if you take the channel from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of wave 1 and you pull it to the bottom of wave 2 as so, I'll show you guys the macro count. Then you can see we put on these extension lines. So this would basically be to clarify 1.618 times the width of this channel right here. This would be 2 times the width of this channel right here, and so on. And we see we get a nice reaction around the 2 line right here, and then also a very precise reaction around the 2.618 line. So just kind of going off of the reactions we've already gotten, we might be able to expect a reaction around this 3 line right here, which would be around 8.7K. And then in very bullish scenarios, if this were a 1-2, maybe we could get a reaction around this 3.618 line, which would be around 22K. And that actually lines up perfectly with this Fibonacci extension tool, which was pulled from the bottom of, let's see. So this would be pulled from the bottom of this wave 1 to the top of the wave 1. And then assuming this wave 4 ended right here. Now we don't yet know if it ended right here or if we have yet to come lower. It could be something, it could look a little bit more like this, in which case we'd be looking at about 6K for the top of this wave 5. But assuming we ended right here, then we're gonna want to assume that the wave 5 is gonna equal about the same length as wave 1. So in this case, this wave 5 would come all the way up here around 8.8K. And this is on log scale to clarify. Because we're doing analysis on the higher time frames, we want to be on log scale. So these levels are based on log scale. This would be around 8.8K. And the 1.618 would be around 22K. So those are basically some levels we could be looking at to the upside to give us price targets, rather for the upside and to the downside in the near term and also the medium term. And the long term if you're looking at these ones right here. So now let's get into some of the more nitty-gritty subdivisions, some of the more local subdivisions in this section right here. So I'm going to hide these tools that I just showed you guys. I'm going to put on the macro count once more, and now I'm going to put on the subdivisions, and let's zoom in. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Now, like I was mentioning to you guys, this wave 1 is a little bit tricky to subdivide because this wave 3 just does not really subdivide too well. But then moving on, we get this wave, we're calling this a WXY for wave 2. This would be an ABC for a zigzag down. This would be a wave X, which would be an ABC. And this would also be a very sharp ABC for the wave Y. That's really the best way you could count this WX and Y because they don't really make perfect zigzags. They're really sharp, so they look like impulse waves, but you can't really call them impulse waves if this is a WXY. So then moving on, we get a 1-2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the wave 3. Down for the wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the wave 5 to complete this intermediate wave 1. Then we come down for a very sharp wave 2 here, up for this wave 1, 2. Then we move up for this wave 3. I don't have the subdivisions for this section right here. But I would probably subdivide this as a 1, 2 here. Then you'd have to probably say this is a 3, 4 here, very short 3, 4 up here, 5 up here. Then down for this wave 4, up for this final wave 5 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 1, 2, very sharp 1, 2. Moving on, we get a 3, 4 up here. So this would probably be a 1, 2, or it could be a 1, 2 ending right here for running flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This wave 3. This would be a wave 4. Another running flat, it looks like. So we're getting a lot of running flats. And this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For this wave 5, to complete this intermediate wave 3. Then we come down for this wave 4 for an ABC. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this minor wave 1. Down for this minor wave 2. Up for this 3, 4, 5. And that completes this this primary wave 3, presumably, which we start out by counting down a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give us a wave A. So yeah, it would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we get a triangle correction for the wave B for an A, B, C, D, E. Then we can count down a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me, for this wave C. And then we start out with a, this would be, let's see. So we're gonna call this a leading diagonal, and let's see if it's valid because I haven't updated this count right here in a little bit of time. Okay, so this actually would not be valid. We'd have to put the wave 1 up here and the wave 2 down here, because you want the wave 1 to be longer than the wave 3, and if you were to put it right here, it would not be a valid leading diagonal. So we're putting the wave 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5 for a leading diagonal to complete this minute wave 1, down for the minute wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3, down for the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete this minute 5th wave, and to complete this wave A of this zigzag. So we're going to call this all a zigzag right here. So this would be a wave A, then A, B, C, down to complete this wave B. This would be a zigzag. Then a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete this minute 3rd wave here, down for the 4th, A, B, C. Then we get an ending diagonal to complete the 5th wave for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete this wave C. So to clarify, what we've gotten so far is an ABC zigzag into an ABC zigzag. All right, so given we've gotten a 3-wave move into the A wave and a 3-wave move up for the B wave, then we could be expecting a few things. First of all, this would be a 3, 3, 5 to give us a flat. So this could be a running flat or an expanded flat, which would end beyond these lows in the case of an expanded flat. And this could also be a 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, which would be a triangle. To clarify, that would look like this. So if it's a contracting triangle, then it would look something like this. Now we could always get a expanding triangle also, in which case we actually could have actually come down for the first A wave of this C wave. Now I'm going to hide this to make it easier for you guys to see. I'm not considering this count too strongly, I need to clarify. But it is a possibility that we get something like this. This would give us a very long wave 4, which is part of the reason why I'm not favoring it as much. But we could get, this would be an A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, then come for the D wave, then back down for the E wave. That would be in the case of an expanding triangle. In the case of a contracting triangle, we would expect it to be a running triangle, where this would be an A, B, and we actually just came down for the C wave, or we could be in the process of completing the C wave, as so. So we could get something like this, where this is an A, B, C, 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 for an A, B, C, D, E. Now that would be in the case of a triangle count. I'm going to go over the flat count to start out. So assuming this is a 3, 3, 5 for an A, B, C flat, then I'm going to show you guys the macro count once more and the subdivisions to give you guys more context. And then the first flat count we could show is this one right here. This is the one that I was going over in the last video on Ethereum. So this would be a wave 1, 2. This would be a 1. This would be a minute 1, 2. So this would be an extended 3rd wave right here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this 4th wave is coming up pretty sharply. It's coming up pretty high. An easy invalidation would be this line right here, around 35.80 about approximately. So if we come above this line, we will come into the price story of this wave 1, which will invalidate this being a wave 4 right here. And we'd have to consider this all a completed impulse wave right here. So that's the first way I'm going to count it. If I could zoom in to give you guys some more context as far as the subdivisions go. So this would be an A. This would be a very tricky wave 2. The best way I could count it is saying probably it's an expanding, or rather a running flat for an A, B, C, or it could be a W, X, Y. I'm not going to get into that too much. The only reason I don't really care too much to subdivide this is because we know, personally, I don't think this is a impulse wave because it doesn't make a nice 5-wave structure. It also doesn't make a nice diagonal based on the volume profile because we get increasing volume into these lows, which is not indicative of a diagonal. And then also, yes, that's basically the main reason why I'm not going to count this as a impulse wave. So we have to put the wave 2 over here, and this is all part of a correction of this wave 1 right here. That's at least my preferred way of doing it. And then moving down, we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this wave 3. And we move up to the wave 4 like I mentioned. And now we have to wait and see if we, this looks pretty impulsive for the most part. So we have to wait and see if we get something like this. This could be an ABC for all we know. We could come down for another ABC, then back up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to wait and see what happens. But like I mentioned, easy invalidation would be crossing this line right here around 35.80. Now the next count we could use to subdivide this wave C, if this is all a flat, would be this one right here, which I'm starting to prefer a little bit more than the last one I showed you guys. So this would be a 1, 2. This would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this would be valid because this wave 4, or rather this wave 3 would actually be longer than this wave 1. So we could compare it using the trend-based, rather the trend-based tip extension tool. And we can see the bottom of this wave 3 is longer than this wave 1. And this wave 5 is longer than the wave 3, but the wave 3 regardless is not the shortest wave. So it's a valid impulse for this being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For this third wave, I'm starting to prefer this a little bit more because this fourth wave is being is pretty impulsive looking. So I would expect something is sort of be a fourth wave, something like that. Now moving on to another count, we could be assigning. We could be using this one right here, where this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is my least favorite way of subdividing this wave C because you can't get a nice 5 wave move to get this wave 3. You'd have to probably say this is a 1, 2. This would probably be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how you probably would do it. You probably go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's really the only way you could subdivide this to get a 3, 4, 5 to give us a wave 5 down here. So if you guys have a better way of getting a 5-wave impulse out of this move, feel free to share on Discord and the Discord server, but I can't really get a nice 5-wave move out of this structure right here to give us the wave C of a flat. Now we could have gotten something like an ABC, but also I can't really get a nice ABC, so maybe this is all some sort of WXY. But as far as the flat count goes, I can't get a nice 5-wave structure out of this move. So I'm leaning towards us being in a wave 3, a minor wave 3, which would have looked. So let's delete this right here, which would look like this. Where we're coming up for the 4th wave and we have yet to come down for the 5th wave. That's what I'm leaning towards for the flat count. Now another count we could be going over is the WXY, as I mentioned, where this is all an A. So this will actually be a W for an ABC for the wave X. Then for the wave Y, we could actually be coming all the way down here, but this could be a WXY for the wave Y, in which case this would all be a flat. So this would be an ABC for a flat. This would be a WXY for the W wave, and then this would all be an ABC for the Y wave. And I kind of like that actually. It makes sense because if you count this all as an impulse, it's very hard to get a nice impulse out of it, like I mentioned earlier. So this makes some decent sense if you call this an ABC, WXY, ABC. So that would have given us a bottom right here. For this intermediate wave Y, and also for the primary wave 4. Well, not necessarily the primary wave 4. Of course, you could always get something like this, where this is just the first A wave, B wave, C wave. But in my opinion, that would bring us out pretty far into the year. So I would not be favoring that as much as us ending right here. So I would lean towards, if this WXY is correct, I'd lean towards this Y wave being put in right here, and the primary wave 4 being put in right here as well. So those are the main counts that I wanted to show you guys for this section right here. Now let's get into the local count. So let's go on to the 15-minute chart. Now we want to see a 5-wave impulse off these lows, and we can get it. It doesn't look perfect, so it's kind of like Bitcoin where we can technically get a 5-wave impulse, but it just doesn't look that nice. So the way we would do it would be counting this as a wave 1, which would be a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be an ABC, ABC, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for running flat for this wave 2. Then counting up for this wave 3, we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down for the wave 4, ABC, up for the wave 5. So we could get a wave 1 out of this move for a 5-wave structure, and then moving down we get an ABC. This could be a zigzag right here for wave 2. Then this looks like a nice 5-wave impulse right here. We don't get any overlap between the 1, 2, 3, rather between the 1 and the 4. So it's a valid 1, 2, 3, 4. And we count this as a 5 for a wave 1, down for wave 2. Then moving up, this section is a little bit tricky because for this section right here, if you were to count this as let's see. So you could probably count this as a 1, 2. Then you get a 3, 4 somewhere up here, and then a 5 to complete this 3rd wave. Down for this 4th wave, up for this 5th wave to complete this sub-mini out wave 3. And we actually came right into the 1.618, which would be the technical target for the wave 3. So to show you guys, the 1.618 of wave 1 is the target to look for a wave 3 typically. And of course, wave 3s could always go higher than that, but the 1.618 would be a good target to look for. Oops, this magnet tool always is a pain in these videos. Okay, so lining it up at the top of this wave 1, I'm just going to abandon the magnet tool and then we could go freehand. We came exactly into the 1.618 to top out for this wave 3. Now another possibility for this for this count right here would actually be saying that this wave, this microwave 3 topped out right here, and we're coming down for a microwave 4, and have yet to come up for this microwave 5 to complete the sub-mini at wave 3. And that would look something like this, where this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and check if wave 3 is shorter than wave 1. Or rather, if it's the shortest wave, because if it is, then it's not going to be a valid count. So this wave 3 is actually barely longer than this wave 1, so it would be valid to say this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete this microwave 3 as opposed to this sub-mini at wave 3. So assuming the more bullish count where we're counting this as an impulse for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then I'm going to be expecting us to come down for the 4th wave in this area right here between wave 3 and wave 4. Bounce for this wave 4, so this would be the sub-mini at wave 4, and then come up for the sub-mini at wave 5, somewhere up here. Now, the more bearish count, in which case this is an ABC as opposed to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse wave, would be, in my opinion, calling this all a zigzag for an A, B, C. So that would look like this right here. This would all be an A wave here. This would be a B wave for an ABC running flat, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C wave. And then we're going to come up for the C wave, this C wave right here, which would be a flat like so. A, B, C. Now what we could do to channel, or what we could do to estimate the top of this wave C is channeling. And it looks like this could have already come into the top of the channel. So let's go ahead and take a look. Taking a channel from the top of wave A. Rather, it would be the bottom wave A to the end of wave B to the top of wave A. So we actually haven't yet come to the channel. Let's see on arithmetic. So on arithmetic, we have come into the top of the channel. So this could be the top of wave C here. If you were to squeeze in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this wave C. Or we could go up to the top of the channel on log scale, which would be up here. And this would be all a 1. You'd have to count this as probably a 3 up here, going down for a 4, up for a 5. And using the trend-based, what is it called once more? Trend-based tip extension tool. Let's compare the length of wave A to the bottom wave B, and typically the target we'd be looking for a zigzag would be this 1-to-1. Now, if we do end up coming up to this 1.618, that would be more indicative of this being a wave 3 right here, where this is a 1, 2, and this is a 3rd wave here. So we have to wait and see if that ends up being the, if we end up getting that. If we do end up getting that, I'd be more cautious you know, shorting up here and thinking we're going to come back down here for it to complete that minor wave 5 of the flat. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see if there's anything else I want to go over before I wrap this up. I've been talking for quite a long time in this video, so I don't want to keep dragging it on too long. No, that's about all I wanted to go over for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you like these more long videos where I just kind of go on for, you know, 20-30 minutes and just kind of show you guys what I'm looking at in the charts. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video and in the Discord channel. Take care.